Good morning, everybody. TheoSophia. I understand there is a lot of snow everywhere. So, good morning, Carol. Would you like to explain, if you want to write it? On here, I can't get your voice up. How you were uh, encountering your snowfall from last night. And good morning, Jenny. And good morning, Marianne. I hope you're doing well. Everyone will be happy to see you today. I'm sure there's quite a few that are busied with the snow and ice outside. Here we go. 8 Creek, 8 Sage B, or 8. Good morning, and all whoever. She's looking at 2 feet in upstate New York. My goodness. Anik, good morning. And Lauren G, 12M, good morning. And Tanny again. Is it evening where you are, Tanny? My goodness. Wow, I just never think of Africa being the whole other side of the clock. And Barbara Ward, good morning. Mother TheoSophia, everyone in the community today. Many blessings to all. Well, and here's Tierney again, Africa. Is that not what I said? Africa? I'm sorry. It's a little crazy here. All right. So here we are all together. We'll create our room being a beautiful gold and ask for Saint Germain to bring in a beautiful violet flame out around it. And Lord Gautama Buddha to bring his blue flame at about 2 feet high around the boundaries. So everybody's safe while they're here. The temperature here this weekend was minus 50 degrees. Oh my goodness, and remind me where you are. Is that Canada? Barbara, if you can hear me, I'm asking you. Carol had over 10 inches and bitterly cold weather. You don't want to know what temperature it is here in Florida. Mama, Africa. Barbara Ward's in Ontario, Canada. I thought so. Wow. Well, I think I have an interesting word for today. Yes, inner light. Hello. I might have went over yours. It's Monday. It is Tuesday here, or it is Monday here. You're right. We're all on Monday. You're just trying to confuse me. But what I'd like to talk to you about today and have be our subject is surrendering. Certainly, we each all have situations in our lives that we're not always able to bring intellect to the experience, and that everybody even wants to hear how you want to transform things. So Lawrence, Barbara's telling you, hope you're inside and buttoned up. But surrender is one of those major pieces that you have to learn to become if you're on your path of becoming. And this is when you go about surrendering personality. So let's think about it all for a moment. What is personality? Personality is that part of you who works with the mind, the personality, trying to figure out how you ought to live, where you ought to be, how you should treat people, taking a stand first because he wants to be a part of the big business. When actually there is an experience of your heart, which is very loving and would appreciate if you instead would learn to experience your life from the love inside your peaceful heart. So the question is, how do we do that? I could ask if anyone can guess where your personality lies within you, but it's best that I tell you it's in your solar plexus. And the truth in this solar plexus is that I am a child of God. So all those moments, all those times when you know darn well you weren't being a child of God, you were being your personality that's also in that third chakra. And certainly there's those of you who could argue with me, well, yeah, but it saves me. And here's where you need to begin to ask, well, why? And is it loving what that part of you does? Or is it part of the pretend and manipulation? Those are all things that come out of personality. So, yes. And the will, which is maybe unhealed. First ray is the will to do. Well, there's more to come in the other 6 rays. It's love and wisdom, ray number 2. So we within ourselves have to learn how to perceive not only our world differently, but have a sensation, a feeling of what is the higher road, the higher way to go. So, and this is going to become anytime and anywhere you are that you want to sit in your surrender. Good morning, Marby. You don't want to always be in the hoity-toity part of you. That really has no meaning other than it's a part of your growth. And you can sit and tell me how many people you know that are hoity-toity and they're the smartest and they're the best. And I would say to you, yes, and they have a lot of learning to do. A lot of learning to do, which we all do, no matter who we are or where we are. There is always a higher experience of the light that we can move to. So let's go back to surrender. It also brings the surrendering of I am a child of God down into our root. We can all perhaps be an extraterrestrial on some level and be very profound, but if it hasn't become rooted into the body you have now, it has no power in this life, no strength, no knowingness. So we have the personality, which turns into the light that you are. And then when you get to where you can root it down in your scarlet red, deep in the root, then you're starting to become. And as you just do that simple work, you will begin to write down, what is it? Where is it that I think from and hold from? Start writing down the things you believe, and it will speak to you. Then you write down the ones that you want to have be your truths, and you will see where you're going. A lot of people turn away from their gift of surrender because it requires healing. It requires time and understanding. and observing the personality. And when there's decisions that you make that are simply for the personality, not for the quality of light that you want to hold, they're different. They're very different. So let me see who this is. It's not showing me. Okay. So it's a powerful moment when you decide to be on the path. One of the first things you're agreeing to is to begin to embrace and transform your personality into your heart's desire. Yeah. And what do I mean by that? Well, let's say there's an expedition and you know you're the best one, so you want the first spot. And instead, that's what the personality would say. And the heart would say, I'm honored to be able to share what I've learned and hope others who it can make a change in their life have the opportunity to see it. See that difference? It's a difference in how you perceive it being used and dealt with in this world we're in. Is there some sorts of conflicts in our world? Certainly, everywhere. But they're in the personality with their true soul. And just for me to say a soul, oh, well, what's the soul? Well, the soul is the truth of who you are. And beyond that, you belong into a soul group, which is impressing everyone in that soul group. So there's usually 1,008 beings that create a soul. And there'll be one person, one being that will elevate to the ascended master of that group. Just think about that for a moment. That's how important it is on how you work with your world, work with yourself, and that personality. Is there anyone that has a question for me about their personality, or does everybody understand? Let me just go back to the top and come down. Yes, new comments, I forget, come in at the bottom. Well, Beth, 860, welcome to our group. Glad you came. Hope you come again. And she finds it fascinating. So that is the whole idea. How much time have you truly developed into the spiritual development? And your inner soul becoming something, someone, the light, versus, they called them the laggards in the beginning. They did whatever they wanted. They came to where we were all living. I'm assuming myself being one of those. That could be a little, whatever you want to call it. But I'm sure there's those of you here also that were already evolved. And God asked us, can I drop these laggards off where you are? I don't have a place to put them. But they have a way. They're not healed with their personalities. Oh, yes, sure. We'll take care of it. We'll help them evolve. And all you need to do is take a look around, and you can see how they not only became a part of who we are, but in some ways take over who we are. Isn't that an interesting thought to look at? Here we are, living in a blessed way, honoring, loving, meditating. Then there's these that are thievery and doing mean things. Oh yeah, sure. We'll help them grow. And it went the other way. We went with the part that showed us how much easier it could be if it wasn't truthful. Or all those many different things. We're still in that place trying to say, yes, but I'm on the path of the soul. The soul that knows the light of God and knows our place as we move. And as you become in that path of the soul, it is a remembrance of all the gifts you hold that will begin to come forward for you. So let's ask, do those who were the laggards, do they have gifts? You better. They steal them. You know, I was once talking to also another teacher, and she could remember in the 50s when they would all meet, they would all have to hide how they were getting to this place where they were coming together because the laggards would try to find them so they could hear the whispers. And it's really been quite a challenge that's eons old. And you don't think that that kind of thing would happen today. And I would say to you, buckle up. That's why you learn how to protect yourself. You call in the light, the violet flame, always when you go out, wherever you go. And I can guarantee you not every one of you does that. But that is how important it is for you not to have those negative thoughts or actions. How can we be harmonious? Ego, personality through surrender. When we have low vibrational qualities like unworthiness. This is the journey of the path. You spoke it beautifully. So everyone who's here and throughout the universe needs to start quieting themselves, meditating, listening, hearing. You know, it's a desire to want to be more than just mischievous and all those negative thoughts. If you're someone who wants to become more, to have more, to feel more, you know, we move away from feeling because what we may be feeling isn't harmonious or isn't happy. But if we are harmonious and we are happy, we're going to want to feel even more and start offering it out to the world around us. Does that answer your question, Inner Light? It's a choice. It's a choice. We each one have it every morning when we wake our head up off the pillow. Oh, Jenny's saying hello to you, Inner Light. Yeah, it's powerful. And I'm often asked, well, what difference does it make? Does anyone want to try to respond to that? What difference does it make for you to choose the light versus whatever path you might have seen other people tread? What's the difference? Lauren, I was told through channeled William Michael Forbes that God said to me, learn to heal with God by surrendering my protection. I think that means to trust God to protect me. That's true. But I think unless you begin to start and have a purpose to start the process, you cannot live the process. They're cleaning windows outside my place. I don't know if you can hear it. So, and that's what's developed. Many, many different ways to perceive, to hear, to ways of life, all these different things. And the simplicity is for it to let your heart have purity. If you go inside your, thank you, Inner Light. If you go inside your heart and you feel all this betwixtfulness, now's a perfect time with the world we're living in. Some people can't even hear what's going on because it'll move them from the profoundness in their heart, me being one. Because that's not what I hold as truth. There's peace, there is harmony, there is a life in safety. And just think, if we can get everybody to begin to have just a teeny tiny bit of that awareness within them, the world would change. We have to give up. See, when we think about things like that, we empower it. It becomes bigger. So we have to say, no, that's not what I want in my life. Okay, this is Lauren. Let me raise our personal vibration. It raises. That's what I'm just going to say to you. Because as everyone chooses and starts to choose the light, the world will change. But it's not quite happening quick enough, full enough. And that's why it's still going into an upheaval. It's a commitment. It's a surrender. You know. Oh, thank you, Tierney. Send me a rose. Yeah, you know, we live in like a big condo. We really don't know anyone, not because we just have our own way. And we go to have conversations with other people, and they're going to be all woo-woo and all whoa-whoa. We just found, instead of having to clear that out of our energy field, we send good light, good love, and healing to everyone. And that's kind of where we are. But we're happy. Where most people have disgruntledness and agony and pain, and you know the picture. So for those of you who are on this channel today and have overcome that, God bless you. I'm overly proud for you. And what does that mean? Really nothing. Because you understand the path is about how you feel about yourself. How you feel about the awareness of who you were and now who you are and who yet you can be. And it's with that each step you take, each and every step you take, where do you want to move to? Where do you want to take it to? I used to walk the mall every day, and that's where I learned walking the thought that I wanted made it happen. I played tennis for years, and then my knees started to go, so I made myself walk, and I would say, I feel no pain. I feel no pain. And I had it in my mind to be emotionally or physically. I feel no pain. And really brought a lot of transformation into my world that I hadn't really planned. And when I was speaking to my healer one day, she said, you know you're moving. And I did not know we were moving. We were contemplating putting on an extension. She says, there's a picket fence wherever you're going. I go, excuse me? I had no clue. Absolutely no clue. So here I'm going every day for an hour. I feel no pain. I feel no pain. Knowing it's emotional, physical. Go to Thailand, step off. Well, actually, I was on the plane. The person I was sitting with, I knew he was truly my husband. And I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? That's how simple it was. And I went back to that house, but only to get out. And there was a picket fence around where I moved. So, what your heart feels, believes, and speaks to you is powerful. It's where your path is taking you. And if you're not enjoying it or desiring, wanting it, put in. That's the beautiful thing. We can put the positive thoughts in, and the track can change just like that. And that's the powerful part. The awareness of now. That's right. So Barbara Ward says, for me, it first requires contemplation, self-examination. How do I feel? Not good, and what's the gift? How do I pivot and accept something better? We all have our way that we, out of this big shoebox, pluck from and makes it our journey. So that sounds wonderful, Barbara. But for me, it's been doop, 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 doop. I was listening to the monks. I was going to play it for you, and I thought, no, that was my thing. Chanting Kuan Yin's mantra and remembering being in Thailand. And I'm sure you all have that one moment that made you have an awareness that I know that's within me somewhere. I'm going to find it. So I thought about having that play today. Yes, Kuan Yin. And it was very dramatic. It showed her as a statue coming up in a soft blue color. I am the Buddha is who I'm very drawn to. My master teacher and all the teachers is the mother of Kuan Yin. And you'll all be drawn to that and discover that. And then another level of change happens in your world. Perception clears where you could say, oh yeah, I get that, I see that. And then there's another whole level. Happens many times. So you can never get settled. That's not what the path is. The path is becoming one who can be in the moment. I saw someone here say, in the moment. And I now understand I could move in a moment, but I know it would take me to where I'm meant to be. And it's a time for, in my world, people leaving. I now have, in my family of my two brothers and my mom and dad, they've all left now. My first husband's left. My second husband's left. So there's been a lot of going away. And yet I'm still here, and I am more each and every time. It's just how life is. So we have to not weep or be sad. We need to find the peace that makes it a beautiful, more beautiful place, and how we can be, and demonstrate what we learned from all these people. I think about my father and I were always at edge. I had two brothers. I was his little girl, and I didn't want to be her. If any of you can understand me. And we would stand, and I could yell just as loud as he could. And my dad was a hard worker. We were on a farm. He went out and rode the tractor and the farm all night long, went to work at Belden Wire during the day. The reason we all have wires that we can buy with rubber around them was my dad. He invented that. So, story short, there are so many unique ways to grow that you could probably sit and write for a week or two, maybe even longer, of what really has happened in your life that made you grow and choices you've made. And it wouldn't be from personality. It would be from the soul, that light that is always carrying a light for you to have you find your way. So let me see. I haven't seen a few things here. Transformation, yeah. Interestingly, the frequency of those monks was so powerful that I went to sleep with Om Mani Padme Hum mantra for several days. Yeah, go back. It'll be different. There'll be more. Many of the places they show, if you want watching the video, which are absolutely beautiful, we saw similar things because we were in Chiang Mai and we saw the big home where the major people live. It was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And the monks, and yeah, we could never stand higher than a monk was sitting. We learned so much. And then when we went to the place where they all chanted, when we first walked in, there were beautiful, beautiful paintings about every crisis a human can meet in its development, anger, all kinds of things. I have pictures of them. But interesting enough that while those monks are sitting there chanting, it's going into these images out into the world, tell and what the work is they do. And then, of course, there's a huge altar. Thank you, Inner Light. I wish I could just scoop you up and let's all go back to these places. And Douglas, who we got married as soon as we got home. Well, I got divorced first. Within 6 weeks, if you can imagine, in New Jersey, which they said was unheard of. At home, the lawyer called and said I had asked for my divorce in the wrong county. So my lawyer hung up with me, and then he calls right back. He goes, well, there's a woman lawyer here who's ready to give you your divorce over the phone if you're ready. I don't know who you two are, but I have never seen this happen. And so we got divorced, got in the car, went to Florida, and we saw a lot of the masters dancing at our wedding. It was wonderful. But you can never get, oh, this is where I'm going to be for 30 years. It isn't that way when you're on the path. You're going to go where your soul's going to guide you. Thank you, Lord. Well, thank you, Lisa, Flame of Virgo. Do you know I am a Virgo? How about that? I guess you probably didn't know. Yeah, my birthday's on the 16th. When's yours? So I guess I've probably been talking too long. So give me questions. That's what I want to say. I wish I had a video of my world that I went on during that time. 22nd. Yeah, well, yay, Virgo. Yeah, it's a powerful, well, they're all powerful. So see how different the mind, when it's not the personality and the wholeness, they're all powerful, all in different ways. But it's nice to meet a spiritual Virgo. Yes, Marianne, thank you. Yeah. And so we went to the ocean. Of course, Doug lived in Fort Lauderdale. That's where we got married. And it was a whirlwind. We shocked everybody, and then who my husband was then died shortly after that. And he was a young man. I had married a younger man, but he had a brain problem, which I didn't know anything about. So you can't know what's happening tomorrow, and that's the beauty of it. You will know from what you're putting out into consciousness. That is what shows up. That's why we can't sit and think about all these things happening. We don't want that in our world. We want peace, harmony, love, beauty, and appreciation. All these wonderful things. In surrender, that's where you go and have those things. Okay. Yes, both I'm very close to. Very good. Oh, I know I've said this before, but Isis appeared in the sky. Well, we were out in the yard giving a lecture one day in Shasta, and there she was. Her wings full of color. We have pictures of it. hmm Isis. I think I've been poisoned spiritually by betrayal and cruelty. It's like OCD now. Too many negative thoughts and feelings. Well, all you have to do is not think them. Don't allow them in. Bring the violet flame up through you and around you, and it will burn it all away. And God bless those and wherever it came from. That's all we can do. Yeah. No one can bump you totally off the path. You can find your way back, and that's even going to be a heightened level. Even more love, more acceptance of the moment, and where do I fit here? What am I meant to do? And you'll find that in your meditation. That's why I like that meditation today. You see, it brought me talking to you about surrender, and look how it's brought us all into a new place of really today. How do I surrender? What do I do differently? Put your hands up. I always, when I pray to Mother, hands up, and surrender what you hear. Doesn't have to be the old noggin, the personality. Let your inner soul speak to you, and you'll begin to find new things, new awarenesses, and maybe new feelings. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. The Virgo lady, I love it. So let's all take a breath and move all of our beingness, surrender it into the soul. See if you can hear. Why am I here? Where do I need to go? Yes. Hopefully love will grow and grow and maybe have some twists and turns. But the humor will come when you can see it so clearly of where it was and now where it is. You see? Did anyone else hear something in their soul when they surrendered into the energy of the soul? Now someone's going to see something Egyptian because that's where mine took me. Yeah. I was thinking how great it could be if it gets so safe that we could take a trip to Egypt and then gather and heal and experience while we're there. But we'll see. Trust me. Ooh, I got the chills with that. That's wonderful. Wonderful. So you can hear, you can feel. It's going to heighten your ability on so many levels. All right. I guess I'm a little over. Any final questions from anybody? Are you all ready to surrender and see what your soul has to say to you today? So I want to make a note to you that there is a donation option in my thing. So if anyone really enjoyed what I do today here, I would appreciate and say thank you very much for donating. Well, that's what you got to do. You know now, so it's up to you what you can do. Hug a tree and you hug them all. Give and you give to yourself is another great one. Yes. So, thank you so much. I'll be here tomorrow for messages, and maybe we'll ask what is to be said to you from your being that's with you and see what they have to say. Inner light. Yes, I will read it. Thank you, Lauren, yourself. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. God bless you. May you feel the Lord within you. All right. You're welcome. You're very welcome.